So I was just cruising around on the internet, you know, as I do this morning, and I came across this post by NVIDIA. And it says, announcing NVIDIA DLSS 5, an AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games coming this fall. And I thought, wow, this is probably gonna be a disaster. And if you look through the video, it looks like it puts like an AI filter over basically everything on the screen. It's supposed to just correct the lighting, but it seems to be also yassifying the characters as well. So of course, as I was watching this, I was like, oh no, this is not gonna go over well, is it? And it turns out I was right. The community is absolutely eviscerating NVIDIA right now. Synth Potato is saying, this looks horrifically bad. Nobody wants an AI slop filter on top of their games, which I think is true for most people. That's probably very true. Mimi Lena just said, everyone disliked that, 11,000 likes. DLSS 5 really said, fuck your art style. Here's some AI pores and dating app lighting. Everyone disliked that for real. But then of course, the internet community decides to be the internet community and starts getting in on some of the action, having a little bit of fun with it. Now this guy, the Gameverse says, NVIDIA DLSS 5 off versus on Minecraft Steve and this lovely looking gentleman here. Galaxy Soldier says, playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Arthur Morgan turns into Charlie Kirk for 3 frames. But it gets even funnier. HypeX made this post of clearly a pixel Barack Obama getting approximated into a white guy. Now, this became such a big deal this week on Twitter that even some of the big game developers were getting in on it. This is the Cult of the Lamb developers even went in and made their own drawing of the yassified lamb from their video games. Kick also took Grace from Resident Evil Requiem. And you know a company is getting destroyed when it passes out of Twitter into the rest of the internet world. So this is a post on the indie dev subreddit on Reddit. And they're also having a little bit of fun with it. I was waiting for this one. Jade did the Freerun art meme that was going around a little bit last year. And then DLSS 5 off. And then just even Crash Bandicoot's getting in on it, right? We got the old Crash Bandicoot. What is this even from, by the way? And it just goes on and on and on. Oh my God, Jesus. But it gets even worse because it's not just memes. People are actually starting to weigh in on this and show their annoyance and irritation. Luke Stevens, YouTuber streamer, says, seriously though, game studios can't be happy about this either. This literally turns every game it touches into crappy AI face filter mess. We need to see studios come out against this crap. Right? You would think after you're seeing this, like, oh my God, what game studio would agree with this? He then says, LOL, turns out all the heads of these studios specifically endorsed it, and Todd even filmed a dedicated video hyping it up. I read this and I was like, wait, what? No way. So I did some digging and it turns out it's true.
To hear, you know, we have such a rich history pushing graphics with NVIDIA going all the way back to Morrowind, that incredible water. And when they showed us DLSS 5 and we got it running in Starfield, it was amazing how it brought to life. We've played it. We can't wait for all of you to do so as well.
So even Todd himself is endorsing it. This guy responds saying, Todd realizing he doesn't have to update the prehistoric creation engine, which is what his games are made on, because now he can simply fake good graphics with a Snapchat filter. This guy responds, it doesn't just work. This looks like absolute shit. No, not Todd. This guy responding to this says, DLSS 5% Joffrey Elfstein. And the memes on that post just go on and on and on. You guys can check it out for yourself. But it gets even worse. While I was doing research for this video, Digital Foundry, which is a graphics review company, very well respected in the industry, came out with a video that's called Hands On with DLSS 5, a look at NVIDIA's next-gen photorealistic lighting. And it was a very positive review of this DLSS 5, and they showed a lot of interesting examples. However, that didn't go over well either. They had to make a video the very next day. It's been a wild few days. When we posted about DLSS 5, we were impressed with the technology and what it was doing, but we posted too soon. When generative AI is so divisive with the future of games possibly at stake, we should have taken the time to get the story straight. Okay, probably a good idea, but good for them to opening up and I guess admitting that. However, would they have done this if they didn't receive massive backlash? No, of course not. Bethesda was getting a lot of backlash on Twitter as well about the post, and they responded as well. Oh God, they said, appreciate your excitement and analysis of the new DLSS 5 lighting here. This is a very early look, and our art teams will be further adjusting the lighting and final effect to look the way we think works best for each game. This will all be under our artist's control and totally optional for players. I am so curious to hear what the artists think about this. Unfortunately, they're not going to say anything, most likely, but I'm very curious. I can't imagine artists being too happy about this. What I'm starting to pick up on with this AI stuff is a lot of the companies, they make a big post, they think everyone's gonna really like it, and then everyone explodes saying they don't like it, and they go, whoa, 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 it's not actually that big of a deal. It's not the AI that you think it is, even though they were sort of like promoting it like that. So I find that kind of backpedaling very interesting. And I do think it is sort of like a way for these big companies to ease us into it and try and normalize it by saying, don't worry, the artists have full control over this. Don't worry, the artists wanted this. You asked for this. It's like, no, I know they didn't. This problem actually got so big that a lot of bigger content creators also started getting into this. This is Maximilian Dude, one of my favorite content creators. The fighting game guy. He says, huge supporter of AI upscaling as it's different than the generative AI horseshit, and we need to distinguish the two as different things. Oh, what's this? And I do think he brings up a really good point. I think he actually makes up he does a whole video, I believe, talking about this. So I highly recommend you go checking it out. But what it's doing here is basically placing an AI filter over the video. And NVIDIA's insisting it's just going to be changing the lighting. However, it's just it's like handsome Squidwarding everyone on screen. Like, this one is egregious. Jesus, it's a different person. This eye isn't working. This eye stopped working. Look at these two screens here. This is Starfield. Look at this guy compared to this character. This is a different art direction. I don't know how games feel about putting a filter on top to make things more photorealistic when they clearly had a specific art direction in mind. Obviously, this is a Bethesda game, so Todd's okay with it. And of course, NVIDIA's also saying, oh, you can disable this. You can turn this off. Games don't have to opt into it. Gamers can opt out, but still, you've made it. And I think that's the problem. I think that's the biggest problem, to be honest. I think doing this overall, sure, of course everyone wants photorealistic graphics. Great. I think that's kind of cool too. Photorealistic graphics are cool. I don't feel like we need them, by the way. But I think they're cool. I think it's a cool thing for humanity to reach towards, but not like this. I think this is really just gonna create a Snapchat-like filter that's gonna make games look so similar. You know, this is gonna be like the Unreal Engine look all over again. But probably way worse. Now, I kept doing some digging and I found that it actually gets even crazier from here on out because, of course, naturally, with any big AI drama, there's also very pro AI people as well fighting to the death in the comments. They're some of my favorite. This is my favorite part of the video going through these. Let's take a look. Angry guy yelling at clouds, who's a full-time private jet charter broker and ex-algo and monetization consultant. He says, I love all the hate, as if we somehow don't understand that AI literally trains on data and only will get better from here. It's only gonna get better, guys. It's really cringe that all the quote-unquote experts can't think 6 months ahead, as if we really didn't have this exact issue with DLSS 4 showing 6-fingered frames before it became 100% usable and almost indistinguishable in a year. But what do I know? I'm sure it won't get better from here. Duh. 51 likes and 57 comments. This is not a good ratio. That's not good. This guy responds, who the F cares about it getting better? It is taking in art carefully crafted by the studio and tossing AI filter on top. Everything loses personally and becomes soulless. Gen AI should stay away from games. This is blatant disrespect. There is no quote unquote getting better here. This guy also says, let's get excited, a bad product that's making everything cost a fortune because maybe one day it will be better. And I do agree with that. Obviously there's a lot of talk right now about GPU prices going through the roof. This probably isn't gonna help. This guy says it's just a real-time AI filter that slaps the faces of 3D artists. I would love to see some 3D artists weigh in on this, to be honest. There seems to be a new hate for anyone who makes art online. I've noticed that now with AI coming out, AI bros and people who never really wanted to pay for art in the first place or thought art was too expensive and probably couldn't see the value in art are finally getting a chance to destroy the people that have made this world so awful. Artists, how dare they? And then to respond to that, this guy says they can still waste hours creating art that nobody will pay for, but I will pay top dollar for a high-end graphics card that AI can formulate insane graphics like this on the fly. Imagine thinking AI is a bubble or slowing down anytime soon. Unfortunately, I don't know. This guy doesn't seem to understand that artists are still going to be always involved in some way. So someone's going to need to break it to him. Mr. Matty Plays says, LOL, we've reached the point of diminishing returns in game visuals where companies have convinced themselves that some freaky AI filter that slaps an artistic direction in the face is progress worth sharing. Now, that's a pretty generic take, but the next point here is something I found really interesting and I didn't think about. The risk if we embrace it. At some point, the production process will turn into making blocky assets with basic animation, right? Making just maybe like cubes and really basic animation shapes and prompt, make it look cool and ship it. We'll lose our taste and ability to make art entirely over generations. Every game will look identical. And that is a really great question. If games do lean in that direction, which it looks like there's a chance, we don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, what is going to happen to variety in video games? Is everything going to look the exact same? Or is this really just for photorealistic games? Is it going to be able to be applied to like stylized indie games as well? I don't know. I actually don't know. But it gets even worse. I came across this article on PC Gamer where the lead producer of Epic Games said about this topic, if that was shown as a next-gen hardware reveal and not AI, you guys would be going nuts. The lead producer says the idea DLSS 5 looks bad or detracts from art direction is completely insane. He actually continues on with this rant. He says, I get that some of you are some people are very vocal that they don't like AI, but guess what? And this is what we see a lot of tech bros saying. Guess what? Technology doesn't care if you like it. Facts don't care about your feelings. It is a tool. AI isn't coming, it is here. Just this morning, my oncologist was telling me all the ways it is helping cancer treatment and research. Now, on the surface, you may think this is a good argument. However, he is completely disregarding the fact that people are not talking about AI that's helping cancer. People are complaining about generative AI and saying it has no place in video games. So him using cancer and AI research to push his narrative that it belongs in video games is kind of like when someone's arguing and they go straight to Hitler. You know? However, people are taking his comments very well. I assure you, if next-gen hardware showcased a comically over-the-top doll-face Instagram filter, it would be ruthlessly mocked as it is right now. You cannot look at Grace's face and tell me it is a bonkers improvement with a straight face. Anyway, he's just fighting, and he ends up fighting for his life in the comments, getting eviscerated by everyone, and tech bros trying to back him up. But in my opinion, the filter does look bad. I think you could have shown me that before you told me it was AI, and I would have told you it looked like shit. And even some content creators are in support of it. This is Glad. I think he has about 500,000 followers on Twitch. Very big content creator and streamer. He says, looked at the DLSS 5 stuff. Don't worry, he looked at it. Am I missing something here? Because almost all of this looks great and better than the original. I'm convinced people are a bunch of virtue signaling sheep that hear the phrase AI and immediately jump on their high horse with phrases like, AI slop. A lot of it isn't even slop. It looks great. And if you don't know something was AI and I told you it was an artist's work, you'd love it. This is the same point the last guy made. However, that seems to have been instantly refuted because people clearly did not like the AI filter. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bad shit that comes with AI. Tons. Oh, okay. Okay, so that was his turn to virtue signal. But not everything that is associated with AI is bad, and folks need to come to terms with this and STFU and stop pretending you're better than it or everyone. I don't think that's why people are doing it. I don't think people are doing it to virtue signal at all. I think it's an actual problem in the industry. I think it's a huge problem in the industry that probably will take jobs. It will take thousands of jobs. And it also just doesn't look very good. And I don't think it will look that much better in the future, but by the time it's completely outsourced and replaced everyone, it's going to be probably too late. You know, that's what I think. He continues, AI is the future, always has been, and will continue to be. Okay, Galactus. And it's going to get stronger with his presence. This will happen whether you like it or not, so learn to work with it and not just blindly dismiss it. This reminds me, I've been watching Rings of Power. This reminds me of the humans that ended up siding with Sauron. in the show. They're like, he's coming, we have to go with the tide. It's like Sauron in Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I think calling someone a sheep and then saying it's happening whether you're gonna like it or not, so learn to work with it, I think actually, my friend, that actually might be more sheep mentality than fighting against it, believe it or not. Another YouTuber says this isn't generative AI in the sense of stealing work and pumping out images. It's filling in pixels in video games and improved lighting and shadows, upscaling and so forth. DLSS has been around for years now, which it has been. It's bizarre to get all huffy with 5. And then Paul Tassi says, counterpoint, it looks bad. And then they just argue, for a while. But it gets even worse. The further you go down in a Twitter post, the more insane takes you actually end up seeing. This was my favorite one. This is from Spectro, who calls himself an LLM whisperer architect. He says, oh look, it's the Luddite wine sippers again. And he quotes, I need my video game characters to look like they were built in 1997 by a drunk Chuck E. Cheese employee using expired Play-Doh and 0 polygons. NVIDIA dares to make them not look like a seizure-inducing nightmare. My artistic vision is shut the entire F up. Your galaxy brain AI bad, clay good routine. I don't think anyone's actually ever said that, by the way. Has the intellectual horsepower of a Roomba stuck on a shag carpet. The industry's already flooring it past your crying corner, and nobody outside your sad little Discord server gives a moist fart about your sacred aesthetic. Here, choke on another plate of delicious AI slop, you troglodyte connoisseurs. Bon appetit, dipshits. And then he puts a photo of a tank with a truck on it. 22,000 views and 26 likes. Something about that ratio is not very good. And then he proceeds to get absolutely disassembled in the comments. It's pretty atrocious. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's the mess that's going on for the week. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I'm done.